And you know, talking about things that might be disagreeable. Breadstick lemonade. I'm still going off. But I don't know. You know, I'm gonna stop giving her beef about it.
Is Envy the real disagreeable demon? That is the question of the day.
No. We love Envy. Envy's great. We'll get to talk to her. I'm sure she'll try to bully us afterwards.
Just because a demon is disagreeable doesn't mean it's not lovable.
That's fair. It just means, a little disagreeable sometimes. All right, so we're going to see that aggro Bloodcraft banned out. And actually, the Havencraft deck did get banned out, so maybe that's the target. Maybe it's like, you know what? This is my anti-aggro deck along with my aggro lineup. You're going to ban it out every time. Because I really want to play Darya and Aggro Blood because I think they are the two best decks. And you know what? ZEROFYNE's probably got something up his sleeve with that. I like that. And I didn't even really think about that as far as archetypes. I mean, you're doing this 3-deck 1-ban thing. How do you psych your opponent out to play the decks that you want?
That's important. I mean, playing at all levels, right? The best competitors will know how to play the format, play the players, play the decks. It's not just the matchups.
Absolutely. And, you know, we do not see Darya in hand yet, but I was going to say he was going to top deck it off that Magic Missile because that's doing it in stream fashion so far. It just never feels that far away.
That's how the cookie crumbles for all these Darya plays, apparently.
It's crazy.
Maybe I'll go home and play this deck.
Go home and play Darya 10 games in a row. This is homework for all of you guys. And tell me, tweet at me, how many times you do not draw Darya in your first couple turns.
There's
your first 3 turns, we'll say.
A lot of angry, tweets.
But I saw it on stream. It happens every game. When I play it at home, never. What is this nonsense?
Very upsetting.
Very upsetting indeed. So I feel like the best play here is either an on-curve Beetle Warrior, which feels kind of funky. A 2-3 is fine against Darya. Wood of Brambles is also okay. Sets you up for a bigger Elf Song turn.
Keep the fairies.
Yeah.
Keep the fairies. Do it.
Well, technically you can Nature's Guidance the Amulet next turn and still get off an Elf Song by putting out threats this turn. Which I like.
Yeah. Nature's Guidance Fairy Elf Song.
Yeah.
On turn 4.
Because you're already putting the 1 fairy out this turn, yeah. So you basically get the same benefit, but you get more damage this way. It's really just about, does he want to put out a 1-1 and give ZEROFYNE room to Magic Missile it or Angelic Snipe it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he could be thinking about the Liza as well. I mean, the Liza really stops a lot of spell boosting too, especially considering ZEROFYNE's hand.
That's right. If he did not draw that Insight, really the best play he had was a Piercing Rune. Looks like he's still going to go with it to take out that Liza, which means that he is going to get that extra damage for putting the fairy into play. I really like it. And he gets to reuse the Wood of Brambles. That's never bad.
Yeah. I highly recommend this play.
Stamp of approval. Brady. This play, great.
Highly recommend.
You know what I would like to see more of? SCOOBZ over there. Where's the snacks at? SCOOBZ, where your snacks at, man? Come on. Come on.
Oh, man.
He needs some treats. Somebody give this man some treats.
Didn't they actually make a food that was branded Scooby Snacks?
I would imagine so. I don't see why not.
Has anybody ever had them?
I've had Cheesy Poofs.
What the heck are
they made those? Cheesy Poofs?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? South Park? Cheesy Poofs?
Oh.
In my Cheesy Poofs. Something like that. I'm really bad at that impression, you know.
Oh my
but
God.
there's something like that. It's Eric Cartman. He loves Cheesy Poofs.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, back on to Scooby Snacks. I don't know where they are for him. Somebody give him some snacks.
Yeah. He's going to be snacking on the tears of ZEROFYNE when he defeats him with this Roach combo.
His hand is stacking up very nicely. He's got the Aria also, along with the Roach, to deal a lot of damage come this mid-game.
It's so interesting because it just, everything, you know, you did some damage, but is it enough to really close out the game? I mean, I guess you're really relying on a Fairy Driver. How are you going to live through turns 7 and 8, though, especially if you're not a traditional Roach combo?
It's true. I'm still feeling my way through these aggressive Forestcraft decks because I have not played them in Unlimited. It really does feel like they run out of gas, and it's not in the traditional sense. Like, if this deck existed in rotation, it wouldn't feel like it runs out of gas, right? Because all the rotation decks kind of run out of gas at the same time. But Unlimited, where you have decks that are like consistent Darya or, you know, consistent Vengeance Blood or aggro Bloodcraft that doesn't really run out of gas that fast, it just feels like it doesn't have the same push that a combo deck would have, or the same options. I mean, options like Tia, Crystallia Aaron, being able to combo your opponent, even though if they, you know, even if you're playing against Control Blood, you're playing a Forestcraft deck that can beat it. It feels a lot more limited in options for sure.
I actually really like this. The closer you can get your opponent to this 6 or 7 health territory, I think on the next turn you play some kind of Roach play, and then you have Fairy Driver to close the game out. So if you play Roach on 6, Fairy Driver on 7 allows you to play 3 fairies with it, plus the Evolution Orb means that you're actually going to have enough damage to close out the game. The only question is this Daria board going to run you over or not?
And yeah, these Blade Mages are going a long way. These Blade Mages are huge, especially because he can play another one.
Enchanted? Yeah, he can actually Enchanted Sword the Blade Mage and then play the other Blade Mage. That's going to mean that it does what? Is it a... Is Enchanted Sword...
Oh, he's going for the whole ham right now. He's going to do everything.
Oh my gosh, is he actually going to... So evolving that, do you think he would have got 4/4, 6/6, 8/8, plus another 2?
Yeah, this is a turn.
Yeah, SCOOBZ was actually like a turn away from winning too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Daria, man. So is there a way to win this turn? So he can play a Beetle Warrior. He can't play a Beetle Warrior and a Roach in the same turn to get effects off of both.
I don't think there's any way.
He can play Fairy Driver for 6 damage. That's not enough. He can go 1, 2, 3 plus Roach for 4, 5, 6 damage still. Yeah, there's no way to do it. And like just a Dance of Death plus, a Fairy Evolve. Fairy Evolve can't destroy anything.
The big thing is like these boards are just... What spell is there that actually stops this? The only thing is like Thems's Decree or like a Revelation.
That's right.
Know?
Yeah, these are the turns. I don't think there's any way around this.
Gonna do his best.
Yep.
This ends here.
This was 7 damage?
Oh, so So apparently he did have a 7 damage one. So I said he couldn't do Roach and Beetle Warrior in the same turn. I guess he could, but still not enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Wow.
That is just... Daria is very overwhelming.
If you're not playing Daria in competitive play right now, I've got to ask why. That's honestly it. We've seen Daria just be so successful. It wins pretty much whatever matchup it's against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there was one matchup where we saw it got shut out by a really good Control Haven and Vengeance Blood play, or not Vengeance Blood, but Control Blood, because it does have those answers we were talking about in Thems's Decree and Revelation. But without those, you're right. What do you do?
Yeah. It's really about what options you have on the turn that it floods the board. Multiple followers that are 4 defense or higher, and that's kind of what we identified as kind of the key level of defense that kind of avoids all things. Even single target spell removal doesn't often hit 4 and above.
I think it's the pressure of the 4 defense. Like we've been highlighting as a major part of Shadowverse for the last couple of weeks that 4 defense is the benchmark, right? And when you can put up a board that has more than 2 4 defense followers in the same turn, what do you really have options to do against it? Priest of the Cudgel can't do it. Ancient Lion Spirit can't do it. Any of the Evolve followers outside of Maisie don't really have options to destroy that many followers that have that high of defense. It's just really tough. Maybe that just means Maisie back in the meta. Let's go.
Yeah.
You need Maisie to beat
just
Daria.
Start dumping all of them.
You got to Arthur out your Maisies, and then just take them out. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's one of the best options you can do. I don't know if there's any other combination of cards that really get the job done as well.
And really the key is you have to be thinking about that in the context of play point 5, play point 6 turns,
Yeah. It's tough. It's really tough. I mean, maybe we're talking about Rapunzel back in the meta just because it will survive long enough to make sure that your Maisie can do something, things like that. We'll see. We'll try to tech out a new deck. I'll try to tech out something this week and do some writing about it.
I feel like the best way almost is just to make sure you have some kind of board presence heading into the Daria turn, so there's some kind of board trading that goes along.
That's true. It's very true. All right, now getting into this matchup, we've got, of course, Aggro Forestcraft versus a Vengeance Blood deck. ZEROFYNE, no way in sight at the moment to get himself into Vengeance, but of course that is what Aggro Forest is looking to do anyway. So I feel like he just needs to play very carefully, get as much damage in as he can early, and just kind of force it through once SCOOBZ pushes him there. But SCOOBZ has got to play very carefully not to push him into Vengeance too fast.
Yeah. Incidentally, over the course of the last 2 days, the Aggro Forest decks have been strong, but they haven't been able to close the game out very well, I feel like.
The games that we saw them actually close out were the hands that we didn't think they were going to do it with like double roach, triple roach in the opening hand.
Most of them, I think, were kind of somewhat combo-oriented, but this actual, like, the token play into the Brambles into the Elf Song have been looking far less effective than they were before.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's just kind of the field that they're playing up against.
I mean, it's putting a lot of these players into the top 8, so it's definitely getting there. It's just not pushing to the end. It's not getting them into the finals and or winning yet. So, I mean, today could be the first day for that because there are so many players playing the Agroforest Craft deck. So,
yeah.
Be very interested to see if both of the Haven Craft decks get there, or at least one of them. SCOOBZ definitely going into the tank on this turn.
Just doesn't have very many appealing options. How are you going to have your followers survive? You got Aperia on the next turn.
I think, you know what, you have to go wide here. You just play them all.
I think you go wide and you evolve for face, and you just keep doing it.
I don't think you evolve for face. I think you have to mitigate the damage from Vengeance Blood. But I do think you fill up the board. I think you get him in for 2. I think you evolve over this Angel of the Word. Looks like he's just going to go for the face plan, because if you go for face here, there is a point in time with the number of cards that you have in hand with Vengeance Blood that you can just end the game. You know what I mean? So leaving damage in play is a little scary, especially because you don't want to push into Vengeance next turn anyway. You want the Aperia to end the game from like 11, essentially, next turn.
I think you should be on the Aperia to Fairy Driver line right now, which is why I would say evolve for face now, because I think you want to close the game out turn 6, so just start spending your evolves to hit that point.
Yeah, we're essentially saying the same thing, just different routes of getting there. I feel like board control is a little bit safer, but going face early works too. Essentially gets you to the same point. One, I feel like, is just that much safer.
I think you 100% Aperia this turn. And depending on whether you trade out the followers or not, you can choose one or the other, but I think you can Aperia and even pre-evolve it.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I think I would go face with both cards that are not Water Fairy, evolve Aperia, and then trade the Water Fairy in to the Pure-Hearted Singer.
Would you do the Pure-Hearted? I would almost do... I guess you draw anyways. Well, no, I would do the Angel of the Word, because then he gives up 3 damage to draw.
I believe he's going to do it anyway. It's just, it limits that 1 extra damage. So I guess you have to think, how much damage can he actually deal next turn if he has a Blood Wolf and a Dark General, or Razor Claw and a Dark General, right? So Razor Claw, Dark General, probably the biggest combo. That's 7 damage, plus an Evo is 9 damage, plus 3 is 12. So I guess that's still not lethal. Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay. He tries to limit ZEROFYNE's card options here. Oh my gosh, you got the Savage Wolf, but not quite what he needs. And that means there's 7 damage left, plus the 6 that's going to come from Fairy Driver.
Here are the little things that matter in this game. So we counted this damage to be 12, right?
Yeah.
4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because that Angel of the Word was left in play, had ZEROFYNE actually attacked with it instead of traded with it, he would have won this turn.
Yeah.
It's very small plays like that, because if you don't count exact lethals, you're going to miss opportunities to deal that little bit of extra damage that you need to deal. And I think ZEROFYNE had this game won had he just attacked Angel of the Word to the face.
Oh my gosh. It's so hard to make those decisions sometimes if you don't have a clear vision of how the game is going to play out. But now that Fairy Driver is available, you can Fairy Driver and double Fairy. Each one gets pumped up by 1 damage. Plus, the Evolution Orb is going to give him 6 damage from the Fairies and 7 damage from Aperia. And SCOOBZ is going to be able to close out the game.
So I like getting technical with these plays, because on the surface it looked like SCOOBZ just blew ZEROFYNE out of the water this game, right? But if you look a little under the surface, the play I was talking about, evolving over the Angel of the Word instead of evolving face that turn, you're still going to get to the same place on turn 5, right? The difference is that 2 damage isn't a possibility for your opponent. Had ZEROFYNE read that situation and counted up the damage in his hand, because he already had access to all of those cards, if he attacked just for that 1 extra bit of 2 that 1 turn, he would have taken more damage on the following turn, but knew he wasn't going to go into lethal, because you got to think, they don't want to set me into Vengeance on the turn before they kill me. So he's going to do the same thing he does. I got that extra 2 damage in. Now I have the 12 damage push to end the game.
Yeah. And that's probably kind of the health territory that you need to be thinking about when you're playing against Vengeance Blood, right? When you're getting pushed into that 12 to 14 health range, you really need to be thinking very hard about what you're leaving on board.
Absolutely. So as easy as a game as it might look, there are 2 technical plays in that game that could have shifted dramatically the outcome of that match.
Okay, well, this might be the first time that we're seeing something that's very disappointing in terms of the Daria player. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. You're boosting a lot.
Yep. A lot of Oglers against an aggressive deck is not bad either. They're 4 defense. They have, healthy attack values. They can definitely trade a lot.
SCOOBZ just definitely needs something like a Mysterious Knowledge or something like that. He really, really needs cheap boost options. Otherwise, he is going to be feeling very, very bad. And going up against 2 1-2 followers that still continues to look not ideal.
One thing I want to point out here, you notice that SCOOBZ went to one of the followers instead of face. Why are you asking? Because it opens up the opportunity for another Magic Missile or an Angelic Snipe to be able to finish off that follower to reduce that damage he's taking.
By far, the game plan is to clear the board. Face is going to come if you can survive, and there we go.
You know what card we haven't been seeing a lot of people draw lately? Timeworn Mage Levi. Where's that card at? Where'd that card at?
He got thrown away, and so now he's feeling pretty bad.
No.
The Daria was played intentionally to banish him.
He can stay at my house. I'll take care of him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You only want him for his Crimson Sorcery.
No, that's not true.
For the red hot fire.
That's not true.
That's all you care about.
I mean, he is fire, to be fair. That's why I want to hang him around with him, It'd be like Adventure Time, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be hanging out with him, we'd go on adventures, and then if I needed him to, I'd kick him over and rip out the fireball and then, kill a bad guy with it or something,
Oh. Do you play out the Oglers this turn?
I think you've got to get some tempo going here. Oglers are big followers that you have to deal with or put up with. Of course, I don't know. The reintroduction of Diabolic Drain back into the game is, goodness.
That's a card.
That card is so good.
Yeah, this is a tough spot, man.
Yeah, no Daria in hand. Not great ways to clear boards. Basically just 1 or 2 things per turn. Yep. That's about it. That was the choice between a Piercing Rune and an Ogler. I think Piercing Rune might have been slightly better just because it reduces 1 extra damage this game, and 1 damage is always important.
Yep. I mean, at the point where you're looking to just barely get by, you need to do everything to mitigate damage.
Yep. And setting that Belphegor on 3 defense is really hard to deal with. Now, okay, Angelic Snipe off the top definitely helps with that. That's a great draw.
Yeah, if he Angelic Snipes the Ogler...
You're done for.
Okay, that's going to allow him to Piercing Rune and Angelic Snipe.
And spell boost a lot with that Chimera this turn, which is great. And set his Ogler to a nice, healthy 5 defense, which is perfect against Diabolic Drain.
But this game is very different, right? It's quickly becoming, like... When you have no cards in hand, that's when Daria really, really slows down.
Yeah. When you don't draw Daria or Fate's Hand, that's like the key. If you don't have Daria, you need Fate's Hand. If you don't have either, you run out of gas super quick because your spells don't have a lot of inherent value. The inherent value is in the combo of the spell boosting and the draw cards.
Yep. Oh my god.
Yep, and he's going to trade this one with the Diabolic Drain. Yep, go right back up to 10. And the hand is just crazy. 2 Razory Claws, Savage Wolf, plenty of ways to deal damage.
Yeah, wow. This might be the first time we've seen Daria actually hit the low roll.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we were talking about the strength of Daria in the current scheme of things, is that its average situation is very effective right now.
Yep.
Of course, its high roll is very effective. That leaves only one option for Daria to fail you, and this is exactly it.
Yep, this is it. When you don't draw any of your card draw options, you're very limited in what you can do. Cards like Enchanted Sword don't feel very good when they're just one of the cards in your hand, as opposed to something that's getting you closer to drawing more cards, or excelling you with damage with Blade Mage, things like that on curve with more card draw. Yeah, it just feels kind of clunky. Same thing with Angelic Snipe. Angelic Snipe's a great card for what it does in the deck, but as just a lonesome card, it's not very high value. It's worse than just having a 1-2 for 1, right? In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I'm really having to just scramble using spells to make the best of this scenario.
And he's probably going to just Enchanted Sword this and maybe even pre-evo it to make it impossible to deal with, and also a kill condition on the following turn. I really would have liked to see the pre-evo there.
That kind of is all your hopes and dreams, right? But I think he's got 2, 3, 6, 8 evolve.
Yep, this is it. Got the perfect hand. Has it all. Again, just small things, though. SCOOBZ still had the game lost, but if he would have pre-evoed that Chimera into 8 and ZEROFYNE did not have lethal, he would have had to put so much into that card just to not die, and maybe he couldn't even.
Yeah, yeah. And so SCOOBZ will be eliminated by ZEROFYNE, and ZEROFYNE continues to move on in the tournament, making... Maybe this is in EU also. There's going to be a 2-time winner as well.
ZEROFYNE's doing it. I mean, ZEROFYNE's been putting up big numbers every single week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's just rolling in the points. You know what I mean? He's doing it good.
ZEROFYNE looking like